Here is James Cameron.
You never really get an opportunity. You take an opportunity. If you're going to do something, you have to do it all the way, and you have to just put it before all other things.
I don't know about you, but I'm having a really great time.
Welcome back, everybody, to James Cameron 101. I'm Eddie Green, your host, and we are continuing the character tier list rankings here on the podcast. And we're doing one that I didn't think actually justified doing a character tier list in the beginning, because there's just, when you immediately think of T2 3D, assuming you've seen it, you think, okay, maybe there's 4 characters, maybe 5 max. And that doesn't really, it's just kind of weird to do a character tier list ranking for that few characters. But having kind of really started thinking about how we can approach this, I've landed on 8 characters for my guest and I to rank here. And so that's going to be a 4 and 4. Which is perfect. And I'm very excited to welcome back to the podcast someone that was on the inaugural episode, the T2 3D Roundtable episode a few years back. And then he came back for a cameo. He was supposed to be a part of it, but he came back for a cameo because he was traveling at that time. And so his internet was really bad. But he is technically in that episode, just kind of losing his marbles for a second, and then he goes away. But I'm very excited to welcome back to the show the guy who played Arnold since the beginning of T2 3D. It's Jeff Brozovich.
Hey, look at that. I got good internet this time.
And your hair's looking good. Your hair's looking good.
Thank you. Thank you. Letting it grow out a little bit. You know, that's when you play Arnold for 20 something years, and you got to keep your hair at a certain length and a certain color and all that stuff, man. When you get out of that place, you're like, go long, go blonde, everything. So,
but you're still at Universal, right?
I am. Yes, I am still at Universal with the art and design team. We do a lot of the marquee events, Halloween, Grinchmas, and Mardi Gras. So yeah, we keep busy. This is the slow time of the year right now, but we're ramping up for Halloween already. I know. End of February, we're already thinking about Halloween, man. So
yeah, no, I always see like the aerial shots for like people that do drones, I guess, get like, like they're like already laying out the line cues and everything. And so
I got the insiders, like the Universal insiders. They get their little drones and they fly them over our tents and said, we'll be out there working, pulling stuff in, and we're like, get out of here.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, so we talked a little backstage, and I told you there's 8 characters that we're going to be ranking here, and I'll tell you how we're going to be ranking them, by the way. We're not doing favorite to least favorite. That's boring. All right, magic. Boom.
What happened?
What? I don't even remember what the hell I was saying.
So I was here before, technical difficulties. Here we are, same thing, and then we're gonna start ranking some 8. You said there's 8 characters in the Terminator 2 3D.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Perfect. There we go. And we're gonna rank them not favorite to least favorite. That's incredibly boring. I'll inform you on that.
All right.
But you had some time to ponder them. Can you just off the top of your head, do you think you know all 8 characters?
Maybe, yes. Obviously, there's the obvious, the 5, the Kimberly Duncan.
Yep.
We'll go John Connor, Sarah Connor, T-1000, and me, Terminator, whatever.
Yep.
The other characters would be probably the Mini Hunters, maybe the T-1000, and I don't know. The 8th one would be.
You got one of them correct so far.
Probably the T-1000.
Okay.
All right. So maybe not the Mini Hunters. Who else? I'm trying to think of who else is in there. Is this involve pre-show too?
It involves the complete experience.
Yeah. So if there's something in pre-show that I wouldn't know, because I'm not privy to the pre-show all the time. So that if it's out of pre-show in the queue, then I'm oblivious to that one.
All right, sweet, awesome. Well, no, you did really good there. All right, so the way we're gonna do this,
All right.
and before I show you the order of the characters, I want you to just decide: do I go first or do you go first?
I'm gonna let you go first because you're the host and you know more about it. Probably know more about this show than I do.
All right, sweet. So I'll go first, and so I'll pull it up here, and then I'll tell you how we're ranking them.
All right.
So I'm gonna switch it over. Can you see it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, here we go.
All
All right. Yeah.
So we'll T2 3D. All right, so here we go. So let me. What do I do here? How do I make it? There we go. Presentation mode. Okay. So the way
Buckethead.
huh?
Buckethead. I forgot about Buckethead. Duh.
And if you see there, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, okay, from the pre-show. All right. So yeah, I didn't know Shaq was in that. Was he in it was he in it till the end? I thought they changed it at one point. Anyway,
They did change it, and unfortunately, they did remove Shaq, I think.
yeah, that's right. I do remember that. So, all right, cool. So I was close. I had most of them. All right, that's good. That's good.
So the way we're going to rank this is how I've done it for the first film and for the second film. How well we think, assuming these characters are real, and one of them is actually a real person, but
right.
assuming we think these characters are real, how well we think we're getting along with them.
Getting along with them.
So at the very top there, at the very top is no question, best friends. You don't even have to think about it.
Right.
The next one down is a line from the film, college roommates. So when you're college roommates, you're not necessarily best friends, but you can live with the person.
Right.
In the middle is obviously there's potential.
Mm-hmm.
Second to bottom, probably not. And at the very bottom is hasta la vista, baby. Get out of here. No chance in hell.
Got it. All right. I like it.
So that's how we're going to do it. I probably should have the colors going the other way.
That's all right.
But that's okay. So I'm going first here, kicking things off. And I've already done this for T2. So I'll just quickly say we're going to start with Robert Patrick's T1000.
Okay.
I think it's obvious. It's an hasta la vista, baby. But before I stick him in there, and I've told this story once or twice, but I don't know if I've told it when you've been on. But I've actually have you met Robert Patrick?
I have not. No.
So I actually had the chance to meet him at at one of the conventions in Orlando.
Nice.
And I was super excited for it. I have the Blu-ray that he signed behind me, but my initial plan was before this podcast. If you recall, I had another one that we did a T2 3D thing for. It was Terminator 101.
Right.
And my goal was to go up to his table and hold my phone like this, like a microphone, and have him say something along the lines of, "This is Robert Patrick. You're listening to Terminator 101.
Nice.
So I asked him. So I paid the money and I walked over to him. I said, "Hi, nice to meet you, Mr. Patrick. Can I record you just your voice? I don't even have to have you on camera. Can I just record you making a little intro for my Terminator podcast?"
Mm-hmm.
And he looked over at his handler, the person that's essentially there to be the security thing, I guess. And the handler person just shook their head like this, and Robert went, "Well, there you go."
No.
And for me, I don't know, like it just put a weird taste in my mouth because I've always looked at it as, you're Robert Patrick. You could tell him to go screw off and you can, and you'll do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see an issue with it. I wasn't recording him like on camera, but fast forward to Edward Furlong. When I met him, the dude was like perfectly fine with me recording him as I'm interviewing him about T2 3D, because I've never heard him talk about T2 3D.
Right.
So he's cool with it. But Robert Patrick won't even let me record his voice for 2 seconds. So I've always had a a bit of an issue with Robert Patrick, so I feel extra good in sticking him in Hasta La Vista, baby.
Yeah, that's always a weird thing. Like when you finally get a chance to meet these people you see on screen and icons and people you maybe even are role models or something like. You meet them in real life and something like that. You know, just a weird interaction. It kind of puts you a bad taste in your mouth about them. That's unfortunate because I mean that's unfortunately that's part of fame. And that's part of the thing that they have to live with. And yeah, who knows? Who knows why the handler said no? Who knows? Maybe they just had somebody there earlier that was asking them to say chicken fried, watermelon or something. Who knows? Something stupid, But you're trying to be legit, and yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's okay. He's a bad guy in the movie, so let's put him in the Hasta La Vista.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. And I always like to ask. So for my turn, obviously I stuck him there. Had that been your turn, would you have put him somewhere else or?
I probably put him as a I put him in probably not. I put him one step up, and the only reason I'd say that is because if he is a Terminator and if he is part of that, he's the thing. He's reprogrammable, so he could possibly be a foe or a friend at some point. You know what I mean?
See, that's so interesting that you brought that up because on the Terminator 2 one that I did with my guest, he literally brought up that exact point, but he said it's liquid metal. So like, what do? I take my remote and I stick it in its head.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're reprogrammable if they are, if that's even a thing, but who knows? I mean, obviously the T800, our model was reprogrammable, but I don't know how that works. Maybe they stick them in a vat, a washing machine, and tumble them around every time. Spin cycle.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so you'd put him in probably not, being a little more.
Yeah, just in case. Just in case. Always. I'm Hasta La Vista is a tough one to do. I think. Well, we'll get to that in a second, but I don't know. Maybe. All right. So is it my turn now?
It's your turn, and you get the T800.
I get the T800, but he's no question best friends, buddy. He's no question about that. Best friends for life.
Yeah, no. Again, back to what we were just talking about, and the fact that Arnold, as that character, ends up in the best villains list and the best heroes list.
I know,
and it's the same exact character. I don't think there's any other example of that ever, personally.
Yes, for all to that, but what a career move for Schwarzenegger at that time too, man. Like what a career move that he made. And the story about that, how he was supposed to be the hero in that movie. Reese, he was supposed to play Reese.
Yes.
And he said no, he wanted to be the Terminator. And they kept saying, no, that's the bad guy. And he's like, I know, but that's my training. That's just crazy that he did that. He made that move. And then Cameron loved it so much, he turned around and made him a good guy. It's like, what the heck? I mean, holy crap.
And to my understanding, I think the way Cameron tells it is when he showed him the script for Terminator 2, I think he says something along the lines of Arnold was accepting of it, but he was a little worried about the flip from bad to good.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Which, I mean, at that time, obviously now we look back on it and it's perfect. It makes absolute sense. But at that time, of course, that probably had to have been a little like, what's going on here? This is.
Well, yeah. Like, what are you doing? Come on. They're Terminator. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But in that movie, man, that's that second movie when he's walking down the hall and he's got him cornered. You're like, oh, this is it. He's done. And then he's a good guy. What?
and then literally from that point on, anytime he was in another Terminator movie, he was good.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, they had to make other Terminators to be the bad guys. Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I know T3 has that little moment where he gets reprogrammed to, I don't know if you've seen T3 recently, but he tries to kill John Connor for a second.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and then he had to unreprogram him or whatever. That was weird. That was a weird, a weird one.
And that was always weird too, to like tie this back to T2 3D. When you exited the gift shop, or like when you exited the attraction and you went into the gift shop, for some reason, instead of like a Terminator 2 backdrop at the like checkout thing, it was T3.
Oh, really? I don't know
if you remember this, but like where you checked out and paid for your merch,
yeah.
behind the person was a poster, and it was the Terminator 3 poster.
Interesting. That's I did. That's funny because like as somebody who has to work at the ride all day, you never really go out and explore around and going. I went into the gift shop sometimes, but I really didn't pay attention to what was on the walls at the time or anything. And I'm sure they rotated it, but that's funny that Terminator 3 was. I mean, they were probably trying to promote the show, I'm sure, or the movie, yeah. But that's interesting. I did not know. I didn't recognize that or realize that.
Yeah.
I don't think half the people that went to the gift shop would even look up to see the motorcycle hanging from the ceiling at times either.
Right. If this was my turn, I just for shits and giggles, because I've always loved the line, but I've always been confused by the line as well. Is that a friend of yours? He was my college roommate. like it makes sense as a joke, but it doesn't make sense as an actual thing that character would say, because they don't go to college. Like, what?
Well, yeah, you're right. I think, but at the same time, man, talk about a spin-off series. Holy crap. Wouldn't that be fun to like have an entire Cyberdyne based series of like these Terminators, like some with flesh, some without flesh, liquid metal, non-liquid metal, just hanging out, going through like, I don't know, reprogramming, just combat. I don't know, but just you'd have this like quirky, like office space kind of feel to it. Oh my gosh, how fun would that be?
Right. And so
You're right.
So I would stick him in there because I think on the second one, I don't know if it was my turn or not, but I think he did end up in No Question Best Friends. And I think it's easy to stick him there feeling like you're John Connor, right? Like, oh my God, cool, I have my own Terminator. But like really, like if you really think about that, that's like, I don't know, that's a big responsibility, and I'd have to kind of get accumulated or what's the word? Acclimated to him. And so I would have put him in college roommates just to kind of like, I'll live with him, but then if I need to get away from him kind of deal, you know?
It's kind of the time we're living in right now, Eddie.
Oh my God.
With this whole AI thing. And I get into some conversations, in person and on text threads and stuff, where we have like a Terminator group that we have on Facebook, and stuff. Every now and then we'll just put a post into our Facebook group, be like, it's happening, guys. we lived it for 15, 20 years in that show. And, people are like, oh, AI, it's going to be amazing. They can do this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, but they also have their finger on the launch codes, man. They also have their finger on the launch codes. And I'm like, anything where AI has like access to like just annihilate human beings. I know it sounds science fiction, but dude, there is a very, very large part of me that just does not trust a computer or a artificial intelligence to have access to be able to wipe us out at any point. And I know that sounds very Terminator-esque, but man, ooh, scary.
Yes. See, I think the general public thinks of, when we think of AI right now, I think we think of like when we see the videos and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where my mind goes, like how we can, and this is really problematic too, how literally last night I was watching, I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast. They were literally just watching it. It looked like a movie that was made of like a city falling, like crumbling, and this mom trying to get to her daughter, getting in a Cybertruck and like getting to the like rescue and everything. It looked like a Michael Bay action explosion movie. And to know that it was completely just done by someone probably saying, hey, I want to have a Cybertruck jump off of a crumbling highway, and it just crumbled it all together and spit it out. And it's so scary. But now, of course, obviously the future is probably Terminator looking, with how the fact that these things are gonna, have access to all this stuff. If not now, then pretty soon probably. But I don't know. It sounds like more than I do. It sounds like they have it now.
Yeah, and that's they do, and that's there's no turning back now. We've opened Pandora's box. We can't put it back. We can't put it away. It's out there. It's attached to the internet, and that's the scary part. Is like once it's online, once it's on the internet, you can't stay. It's I don't physically. It's actively said, in questions like we've asked it like, are humans good for the planet? And it said no. It's actively you said no, humans are not good for the planet.
Ugh.
And it's stuff like that. And then you see like the MIT and the robotics that they have going on, these robots now that can, you know, basically fight to a certain extent. They're still very archaic, but they're getting better, and they're getting better every day. And you're like, what are we doing? Literally, we're living in Cyberdyne right now. At times, I shake my head. I'm like, y'all don't know, y'all. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to be optimistic about it, but man, when it turns a corner, a hard corner, man, I'm going deep. Bye. See you later. I'm going underground. See you. Not gonna live that for another 20 years. Whew.
Do you follow any stuff that Cameron says about this?
No, I've not. No,
No.
it's not in a while. No, I know he's came out. It's been about maybe 8 or 9 years since I've listened to some what he said. But has he said stuff lately about it or?
Yeah. Because obviously he just did the whole Avatar press stuff, and obviously he's supposedly working on a new Terminator script, and so that kind of gets dropped into the equation, and he has the rights to a book called Ghosts of Hiroshima that he wants to turn into a film, and obviously that deals with nuclear fallout and everything, and so people ask him about that, and he, I mean, he says the same exact stuff, but he says it so articulately,
Yeah.
he says pretty much what you just said there, like, you've already crossed the bridge, so you can't, the bridge is gone now.
Yeah.
So but
and it's not just America. That's the bad thing. I mean, the downside is that the Chinese, the Russians, everybody has their own version of AI and an AI artificial, learning system that they feel it needs to be out there. So they put it out there. But fortunately, the entire world is connected by basically one internet. Whether you get there one way, it's going to find a way. And that's the scary part, is like, now that it's out there, you can't put it away. You can't get rid of it unless you just shut down the entire, electronic grid, which they have the capability of doing too. That's, we can try to stop it, but they're like, it's like it's not even Terminator at this point. It turns into was it Space Odyssey 2000? HAL, the whole thing with HAL.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think so. It's like, what are you doing? Don't unplug that. It's like, whoa. So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell, I guess. But hopefully,
it will.
Hopefully, it's good time.
And last, before we go on here, literally on Facebook, I got a memory from 2 years ago. I think it was. I don't know if it affected you, but there was I think it was pretty nationwide. It was like an AT&T outage or something.
Yes.
And I was a part of that. And how just from an AT&T outage, we were all just sort of like running around like chickens with our head cut off.
I know. Power outage and like cell phones and internet and any kind of signal disruption in America or in the world, it just cripples. It literally cripples this country. And people are like, oh, they're not going to blow us up. You're right. They're not going to blow us up. They're going to shut down our power. And they're going to get rid of our grids and your phones. And, people are like, oh, make sure you have battery power for your phone. I'm like, why? So you could have a brick, basically a useless brick, because they ain't going to have any internet service. But whatever.
Whew.
I know. Seriously. We're going down a rabbit hole, bro. We're going down a rabbit hole.
I know, and it all stems from this shit. This
exactly.
This little incredible show that you opened, right? You opened it.
I did, yeah. 1990. Actually, you know what? I just what's today? The 23rd. 4 weeks ago. I hit my 30th anniversary
Wow.
at Universal, and that was my hire date for Terminator, February of 1996, and we opened the show in April of '96. Yeah, so 30 years ago that show opened.
30 years.
For about 3.5, 4 years after the movie in '92. So yeah,
Whew.
crazy. And
Absolutely.
now we literally have Cyberdyne and robots to deal with. So,
Well, if it's my turn now, we're literally basically the whole thing we've just been talking about is the character that we're looking at here. The person who wants to shut it all down, who doesn't trust anything. The savior in a way. I mean, I know there's a bunch of, you can look at Kyle Reese is kind of the savior because he protects her in the first movie and gets her to the end. And she obviously in Terminator 2 is the savior in a lot of ways. And then of course, John Connor is the ultimate. He is, I mean, his initials are JC. So, but yeah, Sarah is in this iteration, because it's interesting. She's the most interesting character out of all of them doing these rankings, because in the first film, she's a best friend. Like, she's this sweet little waitress that doesn't have any clue about what's going on. And all of a sudden, she's thrust into this insane adventure. And then in the second one, I don't know that I want to be best friends with her. She's this hardened warrior that is like emotionless and can't even hug her own son without checking for bullets, you know? So by the time we get to T2 3D, she's probably even more hardened. We don't even see her eyes. She keeps the eyes like behind those really cool goggles. Now I understand why that decision was made, probably to help with whoever they cast for the live action to kind of hide the, facial features.
Yeah.
But just looking at her now and the very little time we spend with her, because that's the other interesting thing about T2 3D is Sarah's not in a whole lot of it. She's in the pre-show, and then she's in the opening where they come down from the ceiling. And then once they go into the future, you really never see her again.
Yeah.
Until the end when they're in the silhouettes.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say probably not.
Really? Okay. All right.
Probably not. I just don't know what we would talk about other than Annihilation, like what we just talked about. But
true.
You know what I mean? Like, where would you have put her?
I was probably going to put her there's potential.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is just because, obviously you'd want to have her as somewhat of a keep your enemies closer, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. And I think she's right on that borderline right there. I don't know if she's like, she's not the huggy type, to go around and be like having beer. Well, she might have a beer with, or shots or something like that. But yeah, she's definitely a all business kind of person. So there's potential, especially in the state that we are in right now. Let's just put it that way. That would be, I'm like, let's keep her close. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to weapons and hiding out and staying off the grid and crap like that. So yeah, I'd put her right in the middle of the road probably.
Okay. Well, you get Mr. JC himself, Jason Latona.
Jason Latona.
I literally just recorded with him last night, by the way.
Oh, nice. Awesome. How's he doing? Good.
He's doing good. He's out in Vegas. I'm sure you know this.
Yeah, I know last time I talked to him, he's been always discussing maybe moving back to Orlando. So I know he's kind of stuck out there right now with job and stuff, but that's cool. Yeah, I need to reach out to him, give him a shout. I miss my little buddy. Yep. We spend 10 years with somebody backstage and just goofing off and having a good time and shooting the shit all the time. It's And then one day they're kind of gone and you're doing your thing, and the next thing you're like, oh man, it's like losing a family member.
Because not to side tangent, but I would imagine that the John Connor role, like if you're cast in that, you probably understand that there's more of a time limit to that than there is if you're cast as the T-800, correct?
Yeah, you would think. You would think. I mean, obviously you have to have a youthful appearance and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. So, but at the same time, because again, the darkness and the hair over the eyes and the bandana, just the top lighting and stuff like that, you can potentially. And Dave Sadler did that show for the entire run for 20 something years, and I think when he was cast, he was probably in his mid 20s, mid to late 20s, about my age. So yeah, he was probably like 25 or 27, somewhere in there. Actually, no, he's 1 year older than me. So yeah, he just turned 55. So I mean, so he did that show into his 40s. I mean, he was 40 some years old. Yeah, when he ended up doing completing the show. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. They typically cast Jason. I think was the youngest John Connor we had there when they cast it as the original, and he had a baby face compared to some of the others because he was I think he was 17, maybe 18 tops when they cast him. So, but yeah, you're right. For the most part, those guys were just like they kind of came in, did their thing. We went through a number of different kinds of flavors and looks for John Connor for sure.
All right. Well, just looking at, because you spent 10 years plus with the OG John Connor for the show. So where do you think he falls? Obviously not counting Jason Latona's personality.
Yeah.
That's obviously best friends.
Best friends. I'm going to put them at college roommates. Okay. Yeah. Just because, there's potential there in any of them, but at the same time, it was like, you never knew what you're going to get there. You had to tiptoe around. It wasn't like, I don't think wavelength wise, we weren't always on the same wavelength, but yeah, well, for the most part we were. So yeah, I'm going to put them right below there.
All right. Yeah. Cause again, I kind of share that similar. I might have put him in There's Potential. Definitely not best friends. So either potential or roommates.
Nice.
Because again, John Connor is not as hardened as his mom, but by the time we get to T2-3D, you can kind of see even more of a deadness in his eyes. Like if you really count the pre-show, like when they hack into the video and everything, he's just like the way he's talking. And I know that's sort of also just Edward Furlong's personality.
Yeah, personality, lifestyle, all the above. Yeah, sure,
right.
Sure.
Yeah. Which that always just really upsets me when because he was going to be in Terminator 3.
Yeah.
And then he like basically OD'd or something, and they fired him from the movie.
Yeah, you're right. It's always disheartening, and you wonder what goes on in their lives to where they just like, at what point did they say, "Oh, yeah, let's get into drugs and partying all the time"? Now, I don't know. You wonder about that and going down that lifestyle and basically blowing up your career. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. It's a different mentality, I guess.
Yeah, it's like this, I literally found this last night. I want to show this to you. This is the only, because I didn't even know this existed. At the beginning, I told you I also interviewed him at a convention, and I wanted to really focus on T2-3D. Because I had never heard him outside of the making of. There's a making of documentary for the film part. Yep. Outside of that, I had never heard him talk about making this. And so this was like, I don't know, 2019, I think, when I interviewed him. So it was some time after, and I just wanted to get his perspective on what he remembered. And he was really excited to talk about it. Like I could tell he was excited to talk about something else that wasn't Terminator 2,
Yeah.
The first movie, because he has what, 5 years because 91 to 96. So he had 5 years to develop his memory and everything. So he probably remembers more of T2-3D than he does Terminator 2. But I had found last night, hopefully I can find it here. a quick clip of him talking. I think it's in the year 1999 when this came out.
Okay.
And someone's interviewing him about T2 3D. So I'm just going to share that real quick, and
Cool.
then we'll get back to this. So let me stop sharing that. Share screen. Boom and boom. All right. You should be able to see it, and you should be able to hear it. Here we go. Oh, let me turn the audio up. That would help. There we go.
Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
That's good.
What is your plan for the year 2000?
I'm sorry, year 2000? I have no idea.
Terrific ride. The first time you saw this, what was your reaction when you were sitting in the audience?
It was just awesome. I don't know. I dug it. And, this was like the first time I saw it, and I got up really earlier than I usually get up for this. And I woke up big time. I was like, oh my God, I'm in 3D. And, there's explosions everywhere. It's great. It's cool.
To sit in the audience with this and feel the reaction around you, what is that like for you as a performer to see the reaction that something you've done gets from an audience like this?
Oh, it's great. It's cool. It's all like Jim Cameron and Stan Winston, I don't know. It's great.
What was it like for you getting together back with Arnold and Linda to put this movie together?
It was very strange. It was like years had gone by, and I don't know. It was just like just kind of stepping back in time, and it was sort of like having a weird dream about the past. Almost weird. I don't know, but it was cool. Everybody was great. It's just a fun thing. It was shot for like 2 weeks in the desert. It's cool.
Last question. It must feel so different to be filming a movie like this than to actually see it in the 3D and the total conception. Was it like what you imagined it would be when you were actually filming it with Arnold and everyone?
Well, I heard a lot about what it was going to be. They told me like in depth what the whole thing was going to be, but I mean, it was still shocking. I was still like, whoa, but I kind of knew what was going to happen. But, it was still like, crazy.
Any word you're hearing about a new Terminator movie?
I've heard rumors. I don't really know anything about it, but I don't know. Would you do it? Would I do it? Heck yeah, I would do it. We get $1 million, do Terminator 3, and I'll do it.
So sad. Like when I saw him say that, it's just like,
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Like it's so funny to see him in that time, and that was probably for the Hollywood opening. I think that's when they did that one in '99, because we had opened in '96 to no fanfare. I'm sure you heard that whole story, but we had a very just like we didn't even have confetti, nothing. We just opened. We had no celebrities, we had a press show. That was about it, but
yeah, because
no big parade.
Because no one from the film showed up, right? Arnold didn't show up. Linda, Jim Cameron wasn't there, right?
Nobody. No, it just opened. And the big reason, and I think I've told you this before, the big reason was because Arnold was one of the first, him, Stallone, and like a couple other people were the first to trademark their likeness and their voices and their faces and stuff. So they trademarked their look. So you can't take a picture of Arnold, slap it up on a product and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Arnold Schwarzenegger endorses us. You get sued and you'll lose, you'll get fined. So he had done that in the early 90s. He was one of the first to do that. I think they all kind of do it now. But Universal had advertisements and billboards all over Orlando and up the East Coast saying, you'll be back for a second day at this price, whatever, with his likeness. Like they're using the Terminator like shotgun, like you'll be back for a second day. Terminator, Arnold, whatever. And he got wind of it and he's like, you can't use my likeness to promote Universal Studios, guys. And so they literally overnight had to take all of those down and put up the T or the Buckethead, the T800, just this metal, like instead of his face. And then that was all at the same time we were trying to get the opening going. And they were like, hey, we want to do a grand opening. And he's like, yeah, I'll come down. It's going to cost you like $2 million to have me there. And they went, Yeah, I know.
Wow.
And he's like, all right, see you later. So they just kind of like pooched the, they just didn't do an opening. We were just open. And then fast forward 3 years and they opened the ride in California. Some of the people that worked at Universal Orlando went out to Hollywood and helped open that show. And man, it was like another gut punch, because here we are sitting in Orlando, we're watching this big grand opening, Schwarzenegger on his motorcycle, confetti and just bad to the bone, all this stuff, and we're like, what the fuck, man? Just like, oh yeah, they had everybody at that opening. We're just in Orlando going, yeah, we've been open for 3 years. Okay. And then they did the same thing in Japan too when they opened in Osaka in like 2001, something like that. So
Yeah, and that always bugged me too. The making of documentary that I talked about. If you were not privy to the fact that this opened in Florida first and you just watched that documentary, you would think it's a documentary about the first time this thing's opening in California.
Yep. And when I would watch it and be like, they're saying all this stuff like Hollywood. And I'm like, that's all Orlando, guys. That's Orlando. That's all Orlando. That was 3 years before the Hollywood experience. So yeah.
I think it's maybe just because it's the perception of, and I've been to both parks. I love the Hollywood park. I think it's really cool, the layout with like the escalators. You have to go down like 3 escalators to get to the bottom level and everything. I think it's a really neat layout, but and it is the original Universal Studios. That is where it started.
Yeah.
But there's something really cool about Florida. I don't know. Maybe it's because that was my original Universal, that I went there first. It's just like it just bugs me. But then the Arnold thing really bugs me, because it's like you made this thing knowing it was going to be promoted, right? Like you had to have known they were going to promote this thing that you signed on for. Why wouldn't you just show up? Why are you going to charge them to show up?
Yeah. I don't know. You're asking the right questions. Honestly, I don't know that time period of his life. I don't know what he was going through. I know he was really busy. I know that for a fact, because he had just finished doing that. Then he did Jingle All the Way. There was something else. Yeah, right. Yeah. He was just one out. He was just pumping them out. Like mid-90s was all Arnold. So I guess he was a busy guy, and maybe he felt like he could ask that money, and he was like, it's not Hollywood, so it's Orlando. I don't know why I've got to go to Orlando for this, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's the perception, right? It's not as glamorous as Hollywood. It's Orlando.
Exactly. we get that a lot, and then we just kill it down here, and they're like, oh, Orlando. We've been basically keeping Hollywood afloat for the last 5 years since COVID hit. They shut down that place, and they never really reopened. We've been basically funding them for the last 5 years, keeping them afloat now in California. 100%. That is 100% guaranteed that we've been keeping them afloat, because they took like 4 years to open back up in California. So we opened up 2 months after COVID hit. We were back open, and we've been funding them the entire time. So hey, we're just doing our thing. It's all good.
And the expansion you can't even compare, right? It's literally Hollywood has one park and maybe one resort. And a really interesting city walk. That's like the one thing that always blows my mind, is when you go to the Hollywood one, you just literally park, and then you're in city walk. You go to Orlando, you park, and you walk 5 miles.
Yeah.
And then you get to city walk.
Yeah. And now with the new Epic Park, man, it's like, it's so big. It's crazy. It's crazy how massive that park is. And just the expansion they're doing there. And we'll continue to do, because we have, as little land as we have here, we got quadruple what they have in California. So got that going for us. Yeah,
man. And then of course, COVID is what shut down the Japan version. To my understanding, it was.
Yeah, I think it was on the chopping block, and once we closed in 2018, I think it was like next to kind of go. But yeah, it was on the chopping block. Yeah, And I get it. I mean, I do and I don't. Like they've always said, like a theme park show or ride, shelf life, a show especially like a Terminator or any kind of experience like that should only have a shelf life of about 10 years, and then they want to redo it. And I get that because it's like you want to keep things kind of current, whatever, unless it's less iconic, like ET or well, I'm trying to think of what else is iconic.
Terminator is iconic.
Like, you would think that Terminator would be iconic, and they could have done so much with the with the Terminator show in the building if they just kept it and revamped that show and just did what they kind of did with the Bourne Stuntacular a little bit. They could have done the same thing with the Terminator kind of theme, but I think IP and who owns it and stuff is a whole other conversation that's out of my tax bracket. So.
All right. Well, let us get
back on the rankings here.
Yes.
I think you had a good one coming, or is it? No, I just went. So you have another one coming up, right?
Yes. Let me fix the screen. There we go. All right. So next up on the chopping block, because it is about to be chopped, is the T1 million. This thing. So let's just stick it in there. I mean, you made a good point with the T1000 being reprogrammable potentially.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any reprogramming this thing.
I don't think so either. I think you're right. I think putting it at the bottom, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to have him in your corner, but man, if he glitches or if he goes back to his ways, that's a how do you kill it? You don't. I'm like, right. You don't want to fight that thing.
And just like really quickly to go into geeky stuff here, I think when I first saw the show, I was just awestruck at this thing where the screens open up on the left and the right, and you have 3 screens, and that's a patent, right? That was a patented thing.
That maybe, I don't know. I didn't know that. If that is the case, then it sounds sure. I never heard that.
I'm gonna say I'm 90% positive that the fact that there was a screen and then 2 other screens on left and right, that was patented by Universal.
That might have been, yeah.
Either way, when I was I don't even know how old I was when I saw this for the first time, just blown away, and I was just enveloped by it. And as time went on and I got more geeky into Terminator and understanding how it all worked, the T1 million kind of just I found it more funny than than actually cool. Like, it is cool, don't get me wrong, it's great. It's just weird that that's like the jump we made. Like we had the T800 and then we had the T1000, so that's just 200, right?
Right.
And now we like exponentially jump. Like, we take a giant leap, and it's basically the T1000 as a spider.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't understand the quantum leap there. Like, I understand the 800 to 1000, the quantum leap there.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, you would think this thing would be much bigger and essentially just kind of wrapping itself around the world, just sucking the life out of the world kind of thing. And it's just a spider.
It's just a spider. Yeah. No, I think we all felt the same way. And as a cast member, back in 1996, this thing is all of a sudden we got the T1, and we would make fun of it. We literally would make fun of it during the show and in the show and during rehearsals. Like, when we're like, what a T1 million? Come on. That's just, it felt like a cop out. And I think it was, honestly. I don't think the original concept was to have a spider, a large spider protecting this CPU or this pyramid, whatever you want to call it. The original concept was much different of like how the show went. So that we got from the inside, from like the director and the producers and stuff. So yeah, it's like, but the initial like shock and awe, if you will, or the initial like reaction to the T1 million and the size and the screaming like a dinosaur kind of feel, and the boom, boom, and you're like, oh, it's right there, holy crap, and you can use it as through the 3D. it's good. It served a purpose. But yeah, if you come back more times, the more times you came back, you're like, this fucking thing.
This fucking thing.
It was a spider, man. Come on.
Oh my gosh. I have a feeling, I mean, I don't know, this is just me speculating, but there was a movie that was going to be made. It was a Superman movie, and it was going to have Nicolas Cage in the role, and I think Tim Burton was going to direct it.
Yeah.
And that got scrapped. And I think their initial plan was to have something with a spider was supposed to happen in that, and that got scrapped. And then if you fast forward a couple of years to the movie Wild Wild West,
oh gosh, yeah,
with Will Smith, it's the same producer that was going to be on the Superman movie. He went over to Wild Wild West, and that was like his thing. That was his like dream, to have this giant spider kind of causing chaos. I don't know. It's just weird that it's in the same kind of time frame. I don't know if that had any kind of trickle effect. Like, he was talking about his giant spider idea,
right?
And Gary Goddard and Adam Bazark and all these people that worked on it behind the scenes got a hold of it and were like, you know what? That's a great idea. A giant spider.
Yeah, you wonder, like, at what point they went from, because I think the original concept, and I don't know if we talked about this before, the original idea and concept was to have multiple T-1000s. So Robert Patrick's like just coming out of this like an anthill kind of thing.
Wow.
Where they just come out and they just start, like just consuming, like, and I don't know if he's fighting them off or whatever the concept was, but then you're talking about multiple actors and potentially, more and more people in the show and stuff, cost wise. So I don't know. That was, from what I understand, that was the original concept. It was going to be multiple T-1000s. So they're like, well, if we have them all together, it just makes $1 million, right? I don't know. So they're like, let's make one big one. I don't know what the idea was behind it. I mean, it ended up working pretty cool. It served a purpose, but yeah, there's a lot during the process. Things are brought up. They want to do this, and then they're like, no, can't do that. They scale back, and then they kind of redesign. So yeah, maybe they were having lunch one day and they heard somebody at the next booth over talking about some big ass spider, and they're like, "Ooh, I think we can do that."
Right. Yeah, no, oh man, I'm just like imagining what that would look like. But yeah, the pay grade.
I know, right? And
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, like it just who knows? Yeah, with the what could have potentially been the Terminator 3D show.
Also, I came across a video last night of there's a mall in Orlando. I think it's the Lakeland Antique Mall. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Lakeland Antique Mall. I don't know.
It's like one of these vintage things. And to my understanding, any attraction that closes, whether it's Universal, Disney, a lot of the stuff that they take down, like signage and stuff, ends up there for people to buy.
I have heard about this place. Yes, I think I have heard about it. There was maybe like a Florida, I don't know, it was like a little spot on TV or something about it, and they were showing stuff in this warehouse, and I'm like, where did you get that? So
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And the video I saw was all Terminator 2 3D stuff, and I'm sure it's all gone now, but like signage and stuff ended up there. And one, I was thinking, God, what I would have done to have a piece of that. And two, did you get anything when the show closed? Anything at all?
So yeah, I mean, the short answer is, I mean, yes and no. Like, I didn't get like nothing from the actual building itself when it closed, but before it closed, during the ride, when we switched over from film to digital, they were still in the 3D films and stuff. They had these massively long like projectors, 3 of them on the 3rd floor that were making the 3D film. So you basically had 2 that were making an image. And so you had this film that was like this, as wide as my phone. And it's like, probably a mile long. Who knows how? It was just one continuous loop. It was just, and that was the thing. So like when we still use film, if the show stopped or something happened in the middle of the show, done. Had to go, everyone's out. Everyone get out, because you had to basically run the entire film through back to the beginning. So you couldn't like rewind it and and like say, oh, just start here, like on a digital, video or something like that. So we had film for the first, I want to say at least 5 or 6 years of that show. And then when they started converting from film to digital, they started throwing out the film.
Ooh.
And it was me, I don't know if it was me, Dave Sadler, and I think Mike Sawyer or one of the T-1000s. And we were on the side of the building, and there were a couple trash cans there. We were walking by, and we are doing like this. Trash cans are open. There were these big, not clear, but like white trash bags that you can kind of see through a little bit. Just the entire garbage can was filled with these bags, and you could tell that it was film. And I looked at Sadler, and I'm like, "What is that?" And we went over there and just opened up one of the bags, and it was our 3D film that they were just throwing away. And I was just like, whoop, whoop. And we started winding it up, and we were like this. And I got it somewhere in my house here, but I've got the sequence from like when it transitions from the ball to the time portal where he goes through with the motorcycle and it goes into the future. So I've got that whole sequence on film in my front room somewhere. So just that actual film sequence. And I'm like, I could probably like take a few snippets of that and sell it online or something like that. I thought about doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hang on to it for a little bit. Maybe I'll send you some.
Please do. I mean, if you ever want to get rid of like, just even like you said, like a little snippet, that's so cool. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think because I never saw it when it was on film. Like I was born in '92, so I was only 4 when this thing opened.
Yeah.
So I only saw it digital, and I always had an issue with the 3D, thinking like the 3D kind of just didn't even look right. Like it just looked like really bad 3D. Did it look better when it was on film?
No, not necessarily. Yeah, it was especially the one that always kind of like stood out the most. That was like, was the T-1000 when he comes out, John Connor, Sarah Connor, all that stuff, and that's like the first one. But like when you look at like the imaging of like the depth, like you said, when those walls came up, you could see the depth of the 3D from that way. That's what was most impressive about the 3D. But as far as like it coming out into the audience and stuff was always kind of like, it really depended on where you were sitting in the audience. And honestly, the best seat for the 3D was like the back row, almost the back section. That first row of the back section was probably the best place to watch that show from. Not even down close, not down front. So,
dang, yeah, because I always loved how it looked when the T1 Million came out. That looked really good.
Yeah.
I just had an issue with the 3D of the film itself with Arnold and with.
Yeah, I don't recall. I honestly thought that when we went digital, it was a little bit clearer. But I could be. I mean, when we first opened that show, it was another level, and it was so like just in your face. So to like compare, I would have to see like that original because it kind of deteriorated as it went. That's the other thing too, like that film, and they would obviously change the film. I think every couple of years or something. But I just do remember when we switched over to digital, they started just throwing it away, and I'm like, y'all, you're missing an opportunity here. That, right? You could chop it up, put a little frame, and sell it in the gift shop. Here you go. Make $4 or $5 million probably on those film things. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's a little pizza party.
No, it is. It is. All right. You get Miss Kimberly Duncan, and who is this? Do you know who this is?
That's
too small.
It's a little small. It's hard to see.
I know that this is from the final show.
Is it? Oh gosh, it's hard to see.
If that helps.
Nah, yes and no. Like
it's not Christy. That's who we had on the round table.
That might be. Oh gosh, yeah.
If you say her name, I think I'll know. I just don't know her name.
Jen?
No.
Jennifer?
No.
No. Who else was there? Last show, gosh, that's a tough one because it was the contracted Kimberly's at the time, and I think the last 2 or 3 years of the show, I was there maybe 2 or 3 times a month.
Okay.
Just to kind of keep my foot in the door. I always would boast. I'm like, I'd come in to do a Terminator shift, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm here. I got to boost the show ratings. All right, I'm here. Don't worry, I got this guy. I'd always come in like, all right, you guys are slacking a little bit. Let me get the ratings up a little bit. Here we go. So yeah, I'm trying to think of who that would have been. I'd have to go back and look at a bigger picture. It's literally this small.
It's all good.
But as a Kimberly, as a collective Kimberlys, I'm gonna go to the college roommate again.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. And just to give that wiggle room, like some of them were best friends, some of them were just, you're gonna keep at arm's length a little bit, and then there were some of them like, get out of here, bro. I'm like, yeah, but it's weird because the Kimberlys. So, and I think we've talked about this before. So the show cycle at Universal, when we first started, within an hour, we could do 3 shows. Potentially. That's as many shows as we could do in an hour because we were on 20s. So every 20 minutes, the show that was there, they get up and they're walking out. And as they're walking out, the next show's coming in from pre-show. So like that was the cycle. 20-minute cycles was like, we were turning and burning, man. We were like then the most shows I think we ever did in a day was 59 shows in one day,
Wow.
which is actually and a Terminator's like show matrix, like how many shows we could do in a day for 8-hour shift was 10. So with 59 shows, you have 6 different Terminators at that venue during that day. It was insane. And the John Connors were on a 9-show matrix. Sarah Connors were 10 shows. Kimberly's were 10. The T1000s were like 13 shows for an 8-hour shift, as they're out there for like 30 seconds. Light duty, it's easy. But the Kimberlys, because when we were on 20-minute cycles, they would get choked. They would get thrown back onto the little console and the little pad there. They'd ride it down. They'd get off, and they literally go right back upstairs to start the next pre-show.
Wow, that's cool.
So they were really never, for like the first couple of years, probably they were never really backstage hanging out with us. They were there. They'd go upstairs. They'd start their next pre-show, and they had like this little like phone booth size cubby hole that they would sit in, and they'd read and do their thing, and they'd come out, do their little spiel for the pre-show. They'd come back in, they'd sit down, pre-show's going, hey, they're taking over the building, and then they'd come back out, and then the audience would go in, they'd walk downstairs, they'd walk on stage, welcome in, come in, and they'd rinse and repeat. So it's weird, like some of those Kimberlys, we had a very like basic relationship with, we wouldn't see them that much. They try to hang out a little bit, but a lot of the stuff we actually would do was be out of work. We'd have like big work functions and stuff like that. So they were more colleagues at times than just friends. It was weird. Yeah, different dynamic with each of the characters while you're sitting backstage and get technicians.
Yeah, I bet. But like just the character itself, I would have stuck in probably not. It just seems like one of the fakest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, you're right. Like I would have put her like probably not as a character, and you're right. But at the same time, she's, I don't know. She's gotten a raw deal. I think she's just a little corporate. She doesn't realize the scope of what's happening, and I think with the little coaxing, she'd be like, okay, I'm with you.
Right. All right, 2 left. Now this one's interesting because this is actually a real person. Shaquille O'Neal.
You get Shaquille O'Neal.
I get to rank Shaquille O'Neal. Now I'm not a basketball guy. I'll let that be known. I know he's terrible with his 3-pointers or something.
Free throws. Yeah.
Free throws. I know that's the whole joke. And so in the pre-show, he has the Skynet technology where he has something in his eye that makes him a perfect free thrower.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the whole gimmick and the whole shtick, the joke. And then I think once Terminator Genesis came out, they revamped the pre-show and took him out for some reason. So Shaquille O'Neal, he seems like a cool guy. Anytime I see him in interviews, he seems like he'd be fun to hang out with. I don't know that we would have a lot to talk about, but I'll put him in college roommates as well.
Okay.
I feel like that's the safe bet. Where would you have put him?
I would have put him at the top.
Best friends?
Best friends, no questions. Yeah.
Wow. So you are into basketball?
Yeah. I grew up, playing basketball. Played into college and stuff like that. And I came to Orlando in 93, 92, 93. It's about the same time he kind of came to Orlando too, and he was just part of the Orlando Magic. He is a super. I mean, he's probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, like outside of anywhere. I've met him a half dozen times, taking pictures with him, talked to him, for a long time here and there. Anytime you see him out and about, he is just 100% like approachable. Talk basketball. He'll talk about anything. So he's just a really, really cool dude. Has roots in Orlando, still does. I think he still comes down here on occasion and can take the joke, Like I love that, they poke fun at him. There was the phrase for basketball back in the day when he was with the Orlando Magic and beyond, it was called hack a shack. So hack a shack. So they would hack him, which is a foul, to send him to the free throw line because he sucked at free throws. And so they're like, don't give him the ball in the last 2 minutes of the game because they're just going to foul him and he's going to miss his free throws and they're going to get the ball back. And so it was hack a shack. That was the whole, literally, like everybody knew it. He knew it. Everybody knew that they were going to try to foul. And that was the big joke. And they poked fun at him in the pre-show, and he was part of it. And he loved it. So yeah, he's a good dude. I'd put him up there. No questions. Best friends. Yeah, definitely.
And he's also featured in one of my favorite Fear Factor episodes when Fear Factor filmed at Universal.
Oh yeah. That's a good. Yeah, he's like I say, he puts himself out there, and he has. He'll do anything. He'll try anything. He'll just loves the attention, loves people, and loves. Yeah, he's just good guy, good dude all around. 100%.
Did you see any of that filming for Fear Factor? Like specifically when they had the stunt where they went from the top of the Islands of Adventure tower down into the lagoon?
Oh, I didn't see that one. Is that the one he was a part of?
He was a part of that one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I was around Universal when they were filming that show on property, yes, but I didn't see all of it. They usually film like at midnight to 5 a.m. They were always after hours kind of filming.
Yeah, he didn't do the stunt. He just stood off to the side, like, "Hey, guess who's here visiting the park? Shaquille O'Neal. Let's have him watch the stunt."
Cool.
But,
That's cool.
Yeah, like that always, like anytime I visited, I was like, man, I would have loved to have ziplined from the top of the Islands of Adventure tower.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Sign me up for that. Absolutely.
It's like I didn't even know you could get up there. Like I thought it was unobtainable to even get up there, and then you realize there's little tiny steps along the side, and I'm like, did they actually walk that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's something on the interior, but who knows? I don't know.
All right. Well, you get to wrap us up with Mr. Buckethead himself.
Buckethead, do it! Come on, it's right there. Oh, that's great.
So, there you go, Buckethead, the college roommate.
Yeah, I'm going to put him at probably not. Probably not. He seems a little clumsy, a little full of himself. Come on, man. I mean, it's not hard to reprogram yourself. Get out of the corporate life. Come on.
So you want him to reprogram himself?
Yeah, look, come on, man. Just get out. I mean, it's 2025 now. Reprogram. Get out. Take a weekend. Come on, Buckethead.
When was I don't even know if I know when the hell is T2 3D set? Do we have do you have any intel?
Gosh, I think that
It would be. Wouldn't it be 2029? Because that's the future war.
That's a good question. I think we knew. I don't know. No, wait. It's never said. It's never said of when they go into that future where Cyberdyne is and stuff. But it was always like hypothetical, and I think you're right. 2029 ish, somewhere around this time. I was like, well, that's happening. Yeah, it's crazy.
And anytime I see this image or I see that scene with Buckethead, I just I'm always reminded of the behind the scenes with I forget his name, but basically the guy that wore the upper torso of the endoskeleton.
Yep.
And then he was underneath basically puppeteering it, and they just filmed it. Like he was like, I'm pretty sure they had a hole cut in the floor so that he went below, you know?
No, so well, yes and no, but he was on a stick that came out like from the backpack was here and the stick protruded out, and so he was kind of like he was down below, but and you can see it. No, you can't see it anymore. But if you go back and look at footage of the film from the Terminator 3 show, when the wall explodes, and then you see it, and he's like, and he's walking through the rubble, and he's coming through the hole that he just blew up.
Yeah, you can see the thing controlling him.
Well, it's just a pole. It's just a stick. He's on a stick. He's literally, and so the guy is basically walking behind him like this, giving him the same motion, but he's just on a stick in front of him, like hanging out, like just like hey.
Yeah.
And so it's this little pole, like it's up, and it's kind of close to the butt area, so like a little pole in his butt. It's pretty funny. And then the rock comes down and hits him in the head and goes ding. That's one of my favorite. Oh my gosh, that always got me to laugh whenever I'd sit out and watch the show and the thing. He's walking through the little hole, and just when they were filming, a piece of whatever fell down and hits Buckethead like right here on the head and ricochets off. But because it happened, they had to put the sound effect in, and it's like this little bing. And I go, oh, Buckethead, you okay? Stupid things like that. Just used to get us giggling backstage, giggling all day long.
That's awesome. Well, I'm actually genuinely shocked. I didn't. I would have guessed that a couple would have ended up in There's Potential, but
yeah,
between the two of us, none of the 8 ended up in There's Potential. So that's interesting.
Yeah, there you go. It's pretty polarized. It is what it is.
We will save that T23D. Save. There it is. The official Jeff Brozovich T23D character tier list ranking. Am I gay?
What does it say?
See that over there?
That must be left over from Jason. That's great. Oh, yeah, let's take that next. No,
my gay test. Well, look, what do you got coming up at Universal that you can talk about? I'm sure there's NDA stuff that you can't talk about, but
yeah, we're just like I said, we're ramping up for Halloween in the next month or so. Once the budget is kind of checked off, we kind of know what we have to work on. We got to think 10 or 11 houses this year. About half of them are IPs. I think it's common knowledge that they're getting rid of the Fast and the Furious ride, and
for a new roller coaster, right?
Yeah, so they're getting rid of the ride itself, and the Rip Ride Rockin' roller coaster they just got rid of. They're going to make that the Fast and the Furious roller coaster,
which is the same one that's about to open in Hollywood.
Is it? Oh yeah. I think you're right. Yep, that's why they're modeling after. I mean, obviously different footprint and everything, but it's a very similar experience where it's which they should have done that in the first place. I mean, the fucking Fast and the Furious ride is like slow and stupid. It's like, oh come on, man! It was the best thing about that ride was the grand opening that they did for that show or that ride, and that was a pretty impressive. Like stunt, busting through like, jumps and stuff and fireballs. And it was like a actual movie set. It was really cool. That was the best thing about that ride, but good riddance.
Vin Diesel appeared. Did The Rock appear?
Was The Rock there? I don't know if he was there or not.
He was there for Disaster, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. He pops into Universal like just randomly every now and then. Did I ever tell you that story I was doing when I was Captain America out at Universal Islands of Adventure? And this was probably 2003 or 4, maybe 5. And I'm out there signing autographs and stuff as Captain America, a couple kids. And The Rock was in the park, and we had taken pictures of them earlier that day. A little meet and greet with him and his family. Me, Spider-Man, Wolverine, all those types. And we're sitting there. So it was later on in the day, and he was kind of walking. And this is still, this is like wrestling Rock. This wasn't like movie star Rock or anything like that. He hadn't gotten to that part yet. And I'm sitting there signing pictures with a couple kids, and he's walking by, and he said something like, he goes, "Yo, Captain America, right here, baby." And I go, "Okay." Call me for lunch or something like that. I just get quick little couple comments back and forth. And the kids didn't even turn around. And I'm sitting there, I look at the kids, I go, "The Rock, am I right?" And they go, and they grab their books and went running. I'm like, come on. So yeah, it was pretty cool. He was just like, he's another one of those guys that's like salt of the earth. It was like super, super approachable, super nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So
well,
yeah,
Jeff,
buddy.
I appreciate you coming back.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Definitely I'll have to figure out something to get you and Jason back together. I don't know if you remember, we did a podcast. I don't know if it was on it definitely wasn't on here. I think it was on my other one, and it was supposed to just be your episode, and then all of a sudden in comes Jason Latona.
He hijacked it. He hijacked me. Yeah, exactly. He does that. That's okay. I'll let him do it every now and then. That's all good. It's all good.
And then when we were talking last night, I was like, it's insane to me that I've known you, I've known Kiana, I've known Jason, I've done so many things with him. I've never met any of you.
Yeah, where are you anyway? Like, where do you live?
So I lived in Florida, then moved to Georgia, and now I'm in Everett, Washington.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's out there. That's where Everett. What part of Washington is that?
It's like 25-ish minutes from Seattle.
Like east?
I think we're north, and then going south is Seattle.
Okay.
So
all right.
Yeah, we're like right at the border of Canada, essentially.
Oh yeah, you're up that way. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right.
So,
well, I'd say if I'm ever out that way, I'll stop in, but probably not.
No, but I always I know I'm planning on coming to Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights this year because I like to alternate. So last year we went to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I like to alternate, and so I'll definitely be out there in October. So.
All right. Well, yeah, come on down. I was just talking to one of my other Terminators about a month ago. We need to get together and do like a little Terminator reunion or something. Since since it's the 30th year since we opened, it'd be kind of fun to get the cast together. So I'll keep you informed about that. Maybe we'll push it to like October when you're in town. That'd be fun to get you in here and do a whole reunion. You can meet everybody you've seen.
Right. Yeah, no, like Jason is the one I've done the most stuff with. So like that's the weird one. It's like I feel like I know him, but I've never met the guy once in my life, like in person.
Yep. He's like that. He's like that. He's another one of those salt of the earth, man. It's like once you get to know him, he's like Jason is Jason. Always has been, always will be. Nice. It's cool.
All right. Stick around. We'll do a formal goodbye. But everybody, hope you enjoyed this tier list ranking. If you're like, no, what are you talking about? The Buckethead needs to be in best friends. In the comment section, that's where you can leave your ranking. And please do. Yes. And as I always end every episode with, go watch a Cameron film.